In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at this software called the Font Thing. Now, this is software to help you manage TrueType fonts specifically, and the reason that I'm showing it is because I've had some students ask about how to manage fonts. And I found this software a long time ago. I found it in probably 2000 or so, and it was delivered or released in December of 1999. So it's been around a long time, since Windows 95 even. But believe it or not, it's still a great tool, and it works great on XP and Windows 7, I think even. I haven't tried it on Windows 7, but I bet you it does work. Anyway, this has a lot of great features, and I'm going to go through a lot of them in the tutorial, but you might want to go ahead and read more about it, of course, because there's a lot more stuff than I can cover in just a few minutes. Anyway, to download the software, you can download the install set, which allows you to unzip the files and then install the application, or you can even download the exe and just run it as a standalone application and never have to install it. So it's a really flexible application. Now, if you look at the screenshot, it doesn't look like that much, but you'll be surprised what it can do. So the types of fonts that we're going to be using with these are TrueType fonts, and so these are what TrueType fonts are. This is a website that you might be able to find some great TrueType fonts at. This is dafont.com. Another one is fontgarden.com, and they both have their benefits. I like the way that Dafont is categorized. Makes it really easy trying to find just the font that you want. You'll see here some really nice ones. And then the Font Garden, what I like about it is it has great quotes. So anyway, using Font Garden, you'll see over on the right hand side we have this download, and if I click on download, there's the font, and there it is, ready to go. Now, the font is called Home Remedy, but inside is the TTF, that's the TrueType font, and it just says Home Rem. So one of the things that you notice, or you will notice when you download these, is that they usually have 8.3 as their file name and extension, and it's nicer to have fuller names. So you can download something like Font Renamer, and you can see right here it will actually rename the font so that it has more of a full name instead. So that's something I would really suggest that you look into if you're going to be downloading lots of fonts. Anyway, once you have downloaded a font, you get a zip file, and so here's what you have to do. You have to go to that zip file and unzip it. So I have IZArch on here, so I can extract the files, and I already did that, and it creates a folder which has two files in it right now. It has a README, and that README says this particular file, this TrueType font is licensed under Creative Commons, which says I can basically use it, and here is that TrueType font. Great, so that's what it looks like. Now the problem is that it's not in my software, and I'd really like to use it. So we want to use the Font Thing to help us do that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what the Font Thing can do first. So I'm going to open up the software. I already had it installed, and let's take a quick look at what the software can do. Now when you first open it up, this is basically what you get. The list of installed fonts on the left, and you can click and see all the different installed fonts, and if you hold down the control key you can select multiple fonts. Well, when you're looking at a sample alone, that's really not that exciting, but when you're looking at multiple, it's really cool. Now you can do all installed fonts, and you'll see this list gets really large, but I like to use just the selected fonts. That way I can see just the ones I want. Now you can also adjust the size, and for some reason I find 29 actually does pretty well with certain fonts. But you can adjust the size as you want, which is great. I think the default size is really small, so I always take it up a little bit larger. Anyway, another nice thing about this is that you can even change the message that you want. You can change the text, you can do how quickly daft jumping zebras vex, or you can do a full type list, or you can even type in exactly what you want. So there you go. I can type in any text that I want. Now, if you're working on a logo or something like that, this is absolutely the best way to be able to try out different fonts. Because you can say, yeah, Unidex Corp, and I can go ahead and try different fonts to see which font it is that I want. Now, if you want to look at all installed fonts, it shows you everything, but most of the times we kind of have a good idea of what font can do what. Now, if you don't have a great idea of what each font looks like, then I'd suggest that you go back to something like this and then possibly even go and print. Whoops, I accidentally just printed all of them, which is not what I wanted to do. Oof. Oh, man. I think I just printed all those fonts, which is kind of cool, but not exactly what I wanted. So I have to look at that another time. There is a way that you can actually print like an entire list of everything. And so it's been a while since I've done that, and I'm not really sure right now. But anyway, moving on. Now the next thing will be collections. I'm going to get rid of this collection because I accidentally put that in myself. And right now I do not want that collection. So let's delete that collection. All right. So with collections, what you want to do is right-click. Oops, let's add a collection. Ah, there it is, new collection. You right-click under collection. That makes sense. Anyway, new, and I'll call it My Cool Fonts. Now I can go and find any of the fonts that I want to use, and I'm going to just use the selected fonts. So Magneto Bold and Latha and Kunstler Script, maybe not Latha, Kartika, and Imprint, MT Shadow. Now with those four selected, I can right-click and choose Add to Collection, My Cool Fonts. Now I can go back to the collections, and you'll be able to see that I can select that font, and I can just click on it and see it. Now, if I had other collections, such as, let's say that I want to make a new collection, Dingbats, then I could possibly add some other fonts. So let's see how I might be able to add some fonts. If I browse, I can actually go and look at other fonts that might be there. And so if you're here on campus at AB Tech, you can go to the StuData, DME Courses, Resources, Fonts, and you'll see that I have a bunch of fonts already there. Now these are ones that I just downloaded from .font and put there just to kind of get a sample of what fonts might look like. But you'll notice some of them are in folders already, and some of them are outside of folders, so it's pretty easy to see them all there. But one of the things I really like is you can actually include subfolders, and so it'll basically show you all the different fonts there. And so since I'm talking about Dingbats, let's go ahead and add these to my collection, Dingbats. Let's add that to Dingbats. Now I can go back to the Dingbat collection, and you'll see that these two are not currently installed or running on my fonts. So I have two options. I can either load or install. I noticed load gave me a problem before when these were not on my local computer, but I could choose install, and then they'd be actually installed on my computer, which is really quite amazing. Now it seems as though it doesn't like it being on an external server as well, so that's kind of a problem. I probably did the wrong thing right there. So I'm going to just go ahead and start that over, because I did find that to be troublesome before. So let me try a different place. My documents, temp, fonts. Well, here's that Facebook. So let's try maybe installing that or loading it. Well, it seems as though my software is being temperamental. So I'm not going to worry about that. Maybe I can install. I know I've gotten it to work before, but it's one of those things, just doesn't seem to want to work today. Oh, look at that. Actually, they did work. I just didn't wait. long enough. So that one is actually installed and this one is not. So you can see that icon is there. I'm just impatient and didn't wait. Anyway, one of the nice things that you can also do with this is look at all those characters. And so you can actually zoom up and see what all the characters look like. You can even make them a little bit bigger. So especially when you're using things like dingbats, you can kind of know what to use and which ones will give you the look that you want. You can also see font information. You get to read who developed it, whether it's freeware or not, and then you can make your own notes about the fonts. So I hope that you enjoyed this introduction to the font thing. Sorry about a couple little clicking and stuff here that might not work, but it's excellent software and it really can do amazing things still, even though it's an old application. So check it out and put some feedback on YouTube about what great font resources that you know of, and even if you have another tool that's like this that's also useful. So thanks.